So, being a chartered accountant, if you're working in the field of be it audit, risk, or advisory, I think the use of tools is very important. Be it AI tools, be it SAPs, because we have to draw various kind of conclusions, and drawing those conclusions or working on those points is not always possible in a manual manner. So I think we need to be very much familiar with these things, and IT will definitely help in this. And if you will pursue CISA, then I think you'll have a complete different mindset of looking at various things, and that overall will help you a lot. Because at times you will think from your perspective, at times you will think from senior management's level, which will help you to develop a very holistic kind of mindset. So that way it will definitely help you. And if you're interested in IT, then you can actually look for IT audits and work in those core domain areas. Effective hours that we have in our hand is usually 2 hours or maybe 1.5 hours. So managing time is very important. And then even at times we feel very exhausted after returning back from office. And those are the days when we need to maintain a consistency. So doing that is very important, and we need to accept that fact that it is very much okay to not study much on certain days, but all we need to do is to maintain that consistency and not to give up. And a piece of advice I would give them is we can be more focused. See, obstacles are inevitable, and these will we will definitely face. So we need to be very much determined towards the exam and towards actually what our entire objective is. And then with perseverance, I feel that we'll be able to clear the exam. And in the exam, the questions were actually not very easy and not very tough. So some questions were easy and some of them were actually tough. But what I found in the exam that the questions were very tricky. So as to answer those questions correctly, you need to have a very strong conceptual knowledge. And you should be very thorough with the practical implementation of the things that you have studied earlier. So that was the main thing. And I think amendments covered around 15 to 20% of the entire question set.
Hello everyone, welcome to CISA This Much. This is Aaditya, and today we have with us CA PALAK, who has recently qualified CISA in the first attempt. So before we ask you any questions, PALAK, heartiest congratulations for the success. How does it feel qualifying this exam in the first attempt?
So, firstly, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity and for having me here. I'm very happy after clearing this, and I'm satisfied as well. And this was possible only because of the consistent support of my family members, and my friends and colleagues helped me in staying motivated throughout. And sir, you and your classes and your entire team played a very vital role in this. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. I always say that 70, 60 to 70% is your efforts, because uh, we guide people, but it's your hard work, it's your efforts. We'll be asking a lot of questions regarding your challenges, your journey, and everything. But before we ask you anything else, can you please introduce yourself, your background, and what made you choose this certification, CISA? Because there are multiple career options, right? But why you thought of moving and doing this certification, CISA?
So I'll just give a background about myself. I completed my high school in 2013 and my intermediate in 2015 from St. John's School, which is affiliated to ISC board. And then I pursued my graduation in 2018. Along with my graduation, I started studying for CA. And then after a few failed attempts, I finally became a qualified chartered accountant in 2021. I did my articleship from my hometown, Varanasi, and post my articleship, I worked as an audit assistant in a CA firm for around 2 years. Then later, after qualifying the exam, I worked in one of the big fours in its India office in risk advisory services as an associate. I continued there for around 1 year and then I had to switch due to some personal reason. And I'm currently working in a small finance bank as an audit manager in internal audit department. And so CISA basically, after working for 3 4 years, I decided to upgrade myself. So I was looking for some options, some courses that I can pursue along with my job. Then one of my seniors, he told me about the benefits of CISA. And then after some research, I understood the increasing use of AI tools and information technology in the fields of auditing. And CISA being a globally recognized certificate, I thought this can help me with my CA background. And overall, both these courses can add more value to my profile. And that's when I decided to start CISA.
All right. So thank you for the detailed answer. And my next question to you is, how much time it took for you to crack this exam since the date you thought, okay, let me start studying seriously for this exam, till the date you cleared? Again, you are a full-time working professional, so I can understand you must be having your own work responsibilities, other than work responsibilities also. So, what was the journey like? How much time it took for you?
So I would actually like to divide this into two phases. The first part dealing with 2023 and 2024, and the second part dealing mainly with the year 2025. So, sir, in 2023, although I decided to start pursuing CISA, but somewhere I lacked the determination and I was not very much dedicated towards it in the starting phase. So, at that time, it was very difficult for me to manage both my job and studies. But by the time 2025 started, I decided to finally give it a try and give my 100% in this. So from the time I finally gave my best, so it took me around 3 to 4 months to complete this.
Got it.
And it was mainly because of the video lectures and the entire package. So that made everything very easy and simplified, basically.
Got it. So basically, you had plans, since the year 2023 only, but and in fact, I remember a lot of people were having plans, especially that year, because Isaka, they brought with this, they gave announcement 1 year back, almost before the amendment, that they will be coming with the new syllabus, and the books and everything is going to change. And a lot of people had this dilemma, giving the exam in the old syllabus, and try to clear it as soon as possible. um, there were few people, who even asked me, like, should I be waiting for the amendments, and will that help me? Because there were people who were even waiting for the amendments, saying that, I'll be getting to learn new about new things, my knowledge will be updated, and my goal is not to just clear the exam, but also to learn from it. So I will wait for the amendments. And this amendment came. There was so many amendments, especially in domain number 5. Some people, even now also, they ask me questions several times, that, how many questions you have got from the amendments, are the questions difficult in the exam from the amendments. So, like, I want to know your opinion in this thing, because you have given the exam recently. Did you find the questions to be very challenging, especially from these new areas? Did you find the questions very easy? I mean, since these are technical amendments, like, did you, or did you, or were you like, the questions were mix of, easy and difficult ones? Well, what was the experience in the exam?
So basically, as I'm already working in this field, domain 1 and domain 2 were comparatively easy for me. Domain 3 was basically a mixture sort of thing, but domain 4 and 5 were actually difficult. So I understood the concept after some point, but practical implementation was a challenge. And I kept all the amendment as a separate domain. Like for me, that was domain 0 or domain 6. So, and your amendments series was actually very helpful for me. I went them twice or thrice, and I was well versed with the concepts. And in the exam, the questions were actually not very easy and not very tough. So, some questions were easy, and some of them were actually tough. But what I found in the exam that the questions were very tricky. So as to answer those questions correctly, you need to have a very strong conceptual knowledge. And you should be very thorough with the practical implementation of the things that you studied earlier. So that was the main thing. And I think amendments covered around 15 to 20% of the entire question set.
15 to 20%.
Yes, approximately.
Got it. And many people, similar to your background, so they are also scared of entering in this field, especially people from CA background. They ask me questions like, will I be able to justify myself? Will I be able to understand myself? Because a lot of people are, I've seen that they have myth in the market that. If you're studying for CISA, you need to have full IT background. Otherwise, you'll not be able to understand anything. And even in the job, also, people will expect a lot of things from you. Did you have these kind of thoughts? Because even you come from the similar background, right? And again, what do you think? What's the future of this, especially for people who are just CA freshers, or who will be qualified very soon. And if someone wants to make a career here in this field, again, these kind of dilemma is there with a lot of people, whether to make a career here, or because again, as a qualified CA also, you have multiple options. I mean, you have multiple degrees. Again, every degree has its own value again, but it also depends on your interest. But at the same point of time, people also feel, okay, let me get some value out of this. If I'm doing something, I need to get value out of that certification, right? Otherwise, why will I invest my time, and why will I invest my efforts here? So I just want to know your opinion into this.
So being a chartered accountant, if you're working in the field of be it audit, risk, or advisory, I think the use of tools is very important, be it AI tools, be it SAPs, because we have to draw various kind of conclusions. And drawing those conclusions or working on those points is not always possible in a manual manner. So I think we need to be very much familiar with these things, and IT will definitely help in this. And if you will pursue CISA, then I think you'll have a complete different mindset of looking at various things, and that overall will help you a lot. Because at times you'll think from your perspective, at times you'll think from senior management's level, which will help you to develop a very holistic kind of mindset. So that way it will definitely help you. And if you're interested in IT, then you can actually look for IT audits and work in those core domain areas.
Correct. Yeah. Even I agree with your whatever points you have mentioned. Do you think it's worth investing your time in these domains? That's I think, I haven't asked this question, in my interview, but I want to ask this for the first time to anyone, that do you feel that watching these domains two times or three times, and making your foundation strong in understanding the core IT, the core security, the core infosec domain, do you think is it worth it? Because as you mentioned, maybe you might mug up things, and you might think of answering the questions. There are people who might even clear the exam without having those core understanding. But if there is a person who wants to invest their time and understand these domains, what do you think? Like is it worth investment? When I say investment, it's not the money, it's the time.
So definitely, it's definitely worth it because, sir, it's very important to have a strong conceptual base. And without having that strong base, you won't be able to clear the exam. I think it's not possible to clear it in the first attempt unless your concepts are very clear. Because again, if your concepts are not clear, you won't be able to connect all the domains and then practically apply the concepts. So that is something very important. And so domain 4 and domain 5 is something I think that will always help us. Even in future, no matter what we are doing, but domain 4 and domain 5 will help us always. The concepts and that IT related things.
Correct. Correct. And now will you be scared in the future? Let's say something new will come in the market, we discussed about quantum cryptography and all those things, in the amendments, and what all things can happen in the future, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. Now, since your foundation is strong, now still you have these thoughts that maybe, because again, the IT is something that is dynamic. It's people who are in this industry since past 3 decades. I'm sure everyone will tell you one thing, that whatever they studied during the bachelor's, during the masters, are of no use as of now, whatever they are doing, because it has rapidly changed and they have to adapt. But there's one thing sure, is that whatever they learned during that time, in their college days, in their post graduation, those foundation has helped them to uh, understand the new industry trends. So since you have also seen these amendments and everything, now that fear, as a chartered accountant, as a person who from the commerce background, that fear of not understanding IT, or what exactly do we mean when they talk more about the cloud security, they talk about data privacy, they talk about artificial intelligence, they talk about so many fancy words. Now still you feel that you will be having these kind of fear in your mind after going through everything in detail, in depth.
So to be honest, I think I have overcome around 80% of the fear, but still that 20% somewhere will be in my mind, knowing the very dynamic nature and everything else. So yes, I'm almost very sure, but slight fear is there.
Got it,
15,
correct.
20%.
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah, agreed, agreed. And that fear should be there also, because that will create as a motivational factor for you to be putting in more efforts, in the future, for sure. All right, so let's go to some other question. I would also like to know about your revision strategy. Now, again, uh, there are people who are from IT background. There are people who are working in the IT audit since past several years. For them, their revision strategy is different, because for them they already know the concept, so they focus more into solving the question answers. But I know people who are who do not have background as such. They have to focus on both the aspect, concepts also, as well as practicing and revising the question answers also. So what was your revision strategy, and what will be your advice to the people who are similar to your background? Because again, there are people who ask me that if I uh, know the concepts, and if I just focus on just few, maybe can I skip some mocks, can I skip the official QA, because I know the concepts. So I think I have practiced some sample questions. Will I be able to answer in the exam? But then I always ask that it also depends on your background. It also depends on multiple factors, and I, as a trainer, I advise everyone that you need to focus on both the areas, like concepts as well as Q&A also. But then there are several phases of your preparation. Like initially, during the first half, you can focus more into the concepts. During the last second half, And also during 1 week before the exam also, I advise people to just focus on the Q&A part, and to just take concepts lightly, because you are indirectly revising concepts also while solving the question answers. This is what I feel. What was your revision strategy which you followed?
Knowing the concept is actually very important as that forms the base for everything. If your conceptual understanding is weak, then I don't think so you will be able to clear it easily. But then at the same time, revision is very important. And I think revision is the key to success here in this. Because if you will not revise the course, I think you will not be able to connect all the domains. And so as to clear the exam in the first attempt, or maybe with comparatively less time, then revision plays a very important role. And so my strategy basically was in the first half, I focused more on the concepts. And then in the second half, if I used to study for around 6 hours a day on weekends, then I used to first revise those concepts and then switch to a new concept so that the existing thing that I've already covered, they are still in my mind, and I can apply them basically. So that was the main thing.
Got it. All right. So any last piece of advice you would like to give to the future CISA aspirants who are watching your interview? Anything which you feel okay, which you could have done better, or maybe any challenge you faced, which they should not be facing that. Any piece of advice?
So basically, I would first like to highlight the key challenges that usually people will face, especially if they're pursuing this along with their job. So it's very difficult to manage the time as in the 24 hours that we have, we usually spend like 10 to 11 hours on our daily activities and sleep. And then around again 10 to 12 hours we give to our office and plus commuting and everything. So the networking hours, yeah, net effective hours that we have in our hand is usually 2 hours or maybe 1.5 hours. So managing time is very, very important. And then even at times we feel very exhausted after returning back from office. And those are the days when we need to maintain a consistency. So doing that is very important, and we need to accept that fact that it is very much okay to not study much on certain days, but all we need to do is to maintain that consistency and not to give up. And a piece of advice I would give them is we can be more focused. See, obstacles are inevitable, and these will we will definitely face. So we need to be very much determined towards the exam and towards actually what our entire objective is. And then with perseverance, I feel that we'll be able to clear the exam.
Correct.
And we should avoid taking pressure. Like, pressures can be of various type, but we should avoid taking them.
Correct. And I remember that, during the last few days of your exam, also, you were also kind of scared of, and I always say that this exam, irrespective of how much ever you study, you will never ever feel that I'm 100% ready. It can never happen because you do not know from where the questions will be asked, how the questions will be framed. Even from single topic also, I can make 10 difficult questions, and in the end, this is MCQ based exam. This is not something where you are asked to mug up, or where you are asked to remember few points and reproduce those as it is in the exam. This is not tested in the exam. The main thing that will be tested is your conceptual understanding, your reading skills, your thinking ability as an auditor. Are you able to identify, are you able to differentiate between the two right options? Because there will be a lot of times that you will see, okay, both the options are making sense. So which option should I go for? And regardless of how much ever you do from your end, I do not think so anyone, I have taken an interview, they were like, I'm 100% ready, I can go and write the exam. Everyone had this thought that what if I, what if I'm not clear. In fact, I remember even I told you not to take stress, and and the main thing is that did you do were you able to do your duties properly? And if someone has studied everything, if they have done the revision, if they were consistent, if they have basically done duties from there and properly, I do not think so anyone face difficulties with the results. So you will clear the exam. So it's more of trusting yourself. And I think the way she did, she is again inspiration. And also negative thoughts, again, that is very common, which I believe, but again, it all depends on how do you face these thoughts. Because if you give up, especially during the last phase of your preparation, then you might be answering the questions wrong, which you could have answered it right in the exam. And it has happened with a lot of people, so it's more than see, in the end, it's all about how much you're able to do the brainstorming in those 4 hours. Because it's all about and again, the best part of I always say of MCQ based exam is that the answers are right in front of you. It's not something which you have to like which you have to remember what you studied. It's just that you need to identify the right answer which is in front of you, based on the concepts, based on the mindset which you have developed throughout this journey. And if people like her, without any IT background, if she can do, I think anyone can do. And we wish you all the best for your future, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you.